The bad news, the Canucks are 5 points out of a playoff spot. The good news, they've got 2 games in hand, and they've got Thatcher Demko back in net. Cheryl, what do you have to say to anyone wanting to cross the Canucks off their list of projected playoff teams right now?
Thatcher Demko. Right, Gino? Listen, he didn't get off to the best start, but when you've had that much time off, things can happen. But he started to get into a real rhythm before he got injured again. On February 4th and February 6th, he had shutouts. How about February 8th? He only allowed 1 goal against. And when you look at that overall, this guy's body of work and what he can do as a 1A goaltender really instills a belief within his group. Go no further to last game against the Devils. He ends up winning in a shootout, but timely saves in overtime. Now, that can reinvigorate an entire group. Listen, you mentioned the 2 games in hand. Well, this is a team that can bolster their goal scoring if they can get an uptick in their productivity from their top players. Guys like Pettersson, if I look at my notes, a goal and 5 assists in his last 5. You look at Brock Besser, who hadn't been lighting the lamp, that's for sure, but 5 goals and assists in his last 5. And then Hughes, after injury in his last 5, he's got a goal and 4 assists. And Hughes is the real denominator here for me. He is the driver of the offense for the back end. This guy would have been a Norris Trophy candidate, could have been a Hart Trophy candidate had he not been injured. So when you look at him and the way he can drive offense, if they can get their top players really performing, and it feels like they are on the brink of something right now, and align that with Thatcher Demko playing some good hockey, I think they can robustly find a way to have some belief and climb their way back into the playoffs.
There probably weren't a lot of fans that circled the Canucks and Islanders game in March on the calendar, but tonight fans in Vancouver, Calgary, St. Louis, Long Island, New York, Columbus, Detroit, and Montreal are all going to be glued to the game because this could have playoff implications for all of them. In the end, which 2 teams grab the final playoff spots in each of the conferences?
Well, if I'm going to look at the East, I'm going to go, and I know Craig Button may not agree with me on this one, but I'm going to go with the Montreal Canadiens. And they're in that second wildcard spot right now, and it's just a certain something. I mean, we're always looking at the underlying metrics and the numbers. How about the belief within a room, right? It's not always the best team on paper, but it's the intangible. And you've got a director there in Marty St. Louis that's getting the best out of his athletes. Yeah, you know, they didn't play well last night and they got their butts handed to them by St. Louis. But when you look at this group collectively and what they've done over the course of the year, no one would have had them in contention to be in a wild card spot right now. Montembeault has been really strong outside of last night up until from the break till now. So if you get the goaltending, you got Gooley coming back into lineup. I think that this is a team with the belief that they have, the top line, the production that they've given, can find a way to get in there. And on the western side, I know it, I just talked about them, but I'm going to go back with the Vancouver Canucks here with those 2 games in hand. I'm going to say that they find a way to jump into that second wildcard spot. Now, St. Louis is on quite a run right now, so they've got to find some legs in the now to get those wins. But I think with Thatcher Demko and that uptick in production, the goals for, I think this is a group that can get it done. They have faced adversity all year long, and they're in some pivotal time right now, and I think that if they can get this next game, they can go on a run themselves.
As of now, 2 of the playoff bubble spots are held by the Blues and Canadiens. FanDuel has them as the favorites among the group to actually get in.